Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the US Bank Business Platinum credit card. So I'll be going over the main features of this card, its pros as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a much better idea of whether or not this credit card is a good fit for you. But before we go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you would mind helping out real quickly by just give this video a like. That just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. Okay, so diving right into the main features of the US Bank Business Platinum credit card. First off, we're going to be talking about cash back and how you can earn it. And unfortunately, with this credit card, they do not offer any cash back or points with this card. That's pretty much whenever like a credit card will give you, let's say, like 2% back for every dollar that you spend or something like that. So for example, a lot of credit card companies will give you like 2% cash back. So for every $100 that you spend, in return they'll give you $2 in cash back, and you can redeem that cash back for like a direct deposit into your checking or savings account, a statement credit, gift cards, or anything like that. Unfortunately, with this credit card, they are not offering any cash back at this point in time. So obviously that's a pretty big drawback and could possibly be a deal breaker for you. Then on top of that, as far as the spend bonus goes, unfortunately with this credit card, just like the cash back factor, there is also not going to be a spend bonus with this credit card either. A spend bonus is pretty much where you might have to spend a certain amount within a certain period of time. So for example, certain credit card companies will say, let's say if you spend $1,000 within the first 3 months of having the credit card, in return, they'll give you $200 in the form of a spend bonus. And just like the cash back that you're receiving, the $200 that you're receiving in terms of the spend bonus, you can either save it up for later down the line and then eventually redeem it for like a direct deposit into your checking or savings account, a statement credit, gift cards, travel, or anything like that. Well, unfortunately, this credit card with the US Bank Business Platinum credit card, they are not offering a spend bonus. So starting out, you're not going to be receiving any cash back, and you're also not going to be receiving a spend bonus. So at this point in time, you might be wondering, what exact benefits does this credit card offer? Well, one thing they do offer is a 0% introductory APR on both your purchases as well as your balance transfers for the first 18 months of having this credit card. So perhaps you have a lot of larger transactions coming up, and maybe you don't have the cash set aside right now to pay them off in full. And these are transactions that you absolutely have to make. These are not wants, they are absolute needs, things that you absolutely need to pay for, but you don't have the money set aside right now. Well, you can put those transactions on this credit card and then slowly pay them off over the first 18 months. You'll definitely want to make sure that that balance is paid off in full when those 18 months are up, though, because at that point in time, after the 18 months, your APR is then going to shoot up to a much higher interest rate, and you'll definitely want to make sure that you're not paying interest with these credit cards. Then as far as the balance transfer goes, let's say that you have another credit card out there right now, or you're paying a lot of interest on it from a month to month. It's a rather large balance. And let's say you're paying an interest rate of like 25, maybe even 29.99%. Well, one option you could have is you could transfer the balance from that card over to this card. And just like on your purchases, you're also going to have a 0% interest on that balance for the first 18 months. But just like your purchases, you'll definitely want to make sure that that balance is paid off in full within the 18-month period, because if it's not, then at that point, you're going to be right back to square one of having to pay all the interest on a month-to-month basis once again. Of course, there are going to be some fees on top of the balance transfer, so it's not going to be completely free. We are going to go ahead and dive into the fees in just a minute, though, so you will have a better idea of what that would cost you if you do decide to carry out a balance transfer with this credit card. Then as far as some other benefits go with this card, you are going to have Visa Spend Clarity. So this is basically a tool where you can track spending and manage your expenses more efficiently. Also, you're going to be getting the benefits of mobile payments. car control. So this is basically where you can control like where, when, and how your employees use their card by setting a time, different places they can use it at, and or the dollar amount of what they can spend each month. You're also going to be receiving zero fraud liability as well. So if someone steals your credit card and they go off and spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars with it, whether that's online or in person at a physical retail store, you will not be held liable to pay for those transactions because you did not authorize them. Then you're also going to have the ability to pay over time with a US Bank Extend Pay plan. So that could be something that you could think about taking advantage of as well. So now that we went over the main features of this card at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and dive into the APR and fees, because of course this is also super important as well. So starting out, like I mentioned just a moment ago, on your purchases, you are going to have a 0% introductory APR. Once again, that is going to be for the first 18 months of having this credit card. This could be advantageous for some people who want to take advantage of that feature. Then after the 18 months are up, once again, you'll want to make sure that balance is paid off in full, because after the 18 months, your interest rate at that point in time is then going to shoot up to anywhere between 17.24 to 26.24% based on your credit worthiness. Then as far as balance transfers go, like I mentioned just a moment ago also, you're also going to have a 0% introductory APR on those for the first 18 months. Then after that, just like your purchases, after the 18 months are up, your APR is going to shoot up to anywhere between 17.24 to 26.24% based on your credit worthiness. Then finally, as far as cash advances go on this channel, we usually recommend to stay far away from cash advances. This, of course, should not be considered financial advice, just my own personal reasons. Usually with them, you have a very high interest rate, plus you have to pay a lot of fees as well. But if you do decide to take out a cash advance with this card, just know that your APR on them is going to be a whopping 29.99%. plus a lot of fees as well, which we are going to go ahead and dive into right now. So as far as the fees go, starting out on your cash advances, you're going to have a fee of either $10 minimum or 5% of each cash advance, whichever happens to be greater. Then as far as balance transfers go, even though you are going to have the 0% introductory APR for the first 18 months, like I just mentioned, it's not going to be completely free though. There is going to be a fee associated with each balance transfer. That fee is either going to be $5 minimum or 3%, whichever happens to be greater. Then unfortunately with this credit card, there's also going to be a foreign transaction fee. That foreign transaction fee is going to be 3%. So if you do happen to travel abroad, this is a credit card that you'll more than likely want to leave back at home and instead take another credit card that does not have a foreign transaction fee. As far as other fees go, you're also going to have a late payment fee. It's going to be $19 on balances of up to $100. $29 on balances from $100 up to $250. And then finally, your late payment fee is going to be $39 on balances of $250 or more. Now, I will say if you happen to pay late for the first time, maybe even the second time, you could always try calling into US Bank to see if they will waive that fee for a first or even second time convenience. Sometimes they will, sometimes they don't, but in the future or even starting out, you might want to consider setting up auto pay. That way you can avoid this fee altogether, or mark your calendar, do whatever works best for you. Just make sure that you are paying on time. As far as other fees go, you do have a fee for a return payment. That fee is going to be $35. There's also going to be an over limit fee of $39. And then finally, as far as annual fees go, with this credit card, there are no annual fees, so it's a pretty good benefit there. So now that we went over the main features of this card as well as the APR and fees, at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the best things about this credit card and the worst things about this credit card. Now, as far as the good things go, starting out, you are going to have the 0% introductory APR on both purchases and balance transfers. That could be advantageous. And the only other real great thing about this credit card I can really think of is the fact that you do not have an annual fee, so you can keep it on a year-to-year basis. You're not paying anything for it. So obviously that's pretty advantageous. Now, as far as the drawbacks go, unfortunately, I have more bad things to say about this credit card than good things. First off, you're not going to be receiving any cash back or points with this credit card. That is a very big drawback. You're also not going to be receiving a spend bonus as well. That's a pretty big drawback also. And then finally, you're not going to be receiving like any business credits, like a credit to QuickBooks or any business credits or Uber, restaurants or anything like that. So you're not really getting any great perks with this credit card other than the fact that you're not going to have to pay anything for it. There's no annual fee. And then you're also going to have a 0% introductory APR on your purchases and your balance transfers. So to sum things up, this is a credit card that I would not personally get myself, nor would it be one that I would recommend. In my opinion, it's just not really all that worth it. You can get other credit cards out there that also have a 0% introductory APR on both purchases and balance transfers. But then on top of that, you can also earn cash back and even a spend bonus. So the fact that this credit card does not offer any rewards whatsoever is pretty much a hard no for me. But that's all we have for this review. I certainly hope you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.